Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I am Canon EOS photographer Randall Amroof. Today is Monday, March the 3rd, 2014 AD. Only a few more days until the Clone Wars is on Netflix. Looking forward to that. But right now, I want to talk to you about the Canon EOS 1D-C versus the EOS 5D Mark III. Now, there could be, if we were going to do this in all fairness, a camera in between those two, and that would be the 1DX. Because it's not as powerful as, or not as advanced as the 1D-C, but it's more powerful than the 5D Mark III. So there could be a camera in between these two as far as capability. However, having said that, let's talk about these two cameras, because I love talking about these two cameras, especially the 1D-C, which I wish to have and wish I could afford. Right now, it's the state-of-the-art camera. It's the best of the best when it comes to digital SLR and video, or doing both, I should say. There are video cameras that do video better, but the combination of the two right now, this is the 1D-C is the top of the line. I'm sure in time that will change, obviously, but for right now, that is the case. 5D Mark III, however, does have a larger megapixel count or higher resolution when it comes to photography. It has 22.1, I believe, and, or 0.3, no, 0.3, I think, 22.3, okay, let's just say 22, whereas the 1D-C has an 18.1, or just, let's just say 18 for, keep it easy. These are both great cameras. You'll notice on the right side of the 5D Mark III, however, it has a battery grip. Now, the thing I don't like about the battery grip is I have a battery grip for my digital Rolex XT, which I like. Don't get me wrong, I like the battery grip. However, it only holds 2 batteries. And I believe if they redesigned it and made certain parts of it skinnier, they could actually fit in 3 batteries. They could fit in 3 batteries, so you'd have the ability to put 3 batteries in that grip instead of just 2, which in my opinion would make it even better. Because I've taken the grip from my digital Rolex XT that I use, and it's basically the same thing, barring a few buttons. But anyway, and if you lay batteries down on top of there's a thing that on the end that slides into the battery grip, and that thing that slides into the battery grip, if you lay 3 batteries down on it, there's room for 3 batteries. It's just that it's designed for the spacing between what's there is thicker than it has to be, and because it's thicker than it has to be to do 3 batteries, it only can do 2. But if it was redesigned and some of those things were made skinnier, you could fit 3 batteries. That would be my suggestion to Canon for these battery grips, is to do 3 batteries. I mean, the 2 reasons you buy a battery grip, at least from where I'm standing, is for extended power, so you have more battery power, and 2, functionality, being able to have the actual grip where you can turn the camera different directions and different positions. It gives you more flexibility as far as holding it and putting it into a position to take a photograph that you want in a different position. So basically you're talking about positioning, or maneuverability, and power. I mean, those are the 2 main reasons that you get a battery grip for something like the 5D Mark III. Okay, so it's a great thing the way it is, but it could be made better. The difference between the battery of the 1D-C and the 1DX is the fact that it's 1 battery. It's a longer lasting battery, but it's also a lot more expensive. So there are downsides. As I take a sip of my generic Mountain Dew. So the batteries are, like I said, it does last longer, but again, the battery for the 1D-C is more expensive, to say the least. So now let's talk about ergonomics of the battery grips. Compared, obviously, the 1D-C and the 1DX battery grip look better built in than it does as an attachment. I mean, there's that whole line there. While it doesn't look bad, it just looks better as one piece. So, for that, the 1D-C, in my opinion, wins. Now, do I wish the 1D-C had the 5D Mark III's higher resolution? Absolutely. But here's the situation nowadays, and a lot of camera makers and people are, when it comes to, since the resolutions overall for any camera, 16, 18, 20, whatever, is overall pretty good. One of the things they've discovered is that when they're making these sensors, that if the pixels, or the, let's just call it pixels for, to make it easy, if the sensor pixels are a little bit bigger, it works better in low light situations. For example, if you're shooting like at nighttime or indoors, or like at a wedding where they have the lights dimmed down, or just situations like that. Basically nighttime or dusk, or where there's less light, you don't want to use a flash. Having a pixel that's a little bit bigger is actually better, because it can absorb more light and has a better quality from a low light perspective. Obviously, though, again, the 22 of the 5D Mark III is going to have a better resolution. I mean, if you were to take pictures in daylight, we have plenty of light. Obviously, the 5D Mark III is going to have a better resolution, or not better, but a higher resolution. I mean, it has a higher resolution, but the image is going to be just overall better. Not to say that the 1D-C is going to be bad, but they're both awesome. Don't get me wrong, they're both awesome. But you're going to have a higher resolution than this. You have a better picture, let's just put it that way. Not to say that the 1D-C is bad, because they're both, 1D-C is awesome. Let's talk about image quality. They both have great image quality. They both have great speed. Of course, obviously, the 1D-C and the 1DX are going to be a lot faster. I think the 5D Mark III is 3 to 5 frames per second, or something like that. Excuse me. Whereas the 1D-C is like 12 frames per second for photo. And the 5D Mark III does video at up to 1080p, where, of course, obviously the 1D-C goes up to 4K at 24 frames. And I believe there's a new patch or software thing where you can actually take it up to 25 frames per second at 4K. So I believe that is out there right now. I think I couldn't swear that, but I know I saw a thing on Canon's website where it's either there or it's coming soon. So 24p with 25p, either there now. Not 25p, 25 frames per second. Excuse me. 4K, 24 frames per second, or 25 frames, either coming or is there now. So, with that in mind, how did I stumble through that part? The layout of the camera from the front looks cooler on the 1D-C, no doubt. The buttons look better. You have more options as far as that goes. Same thing on the top. The top of it looks cooler on the 1D-C. It's just that dial on the 5D Mark III, I don't like it. I mean, it serves a good function, same as it does on my EOS Digital XT, but I prefer not to have it there. I'd rather have something digital, or I can just a little bitty scroll wheel like they do next to the trigger button. So there's that. I believe that on the 5D Mark III, I can't tell for sure, but I would think that was a pancake lens, the 40 millimeter pancake lens. I can't tell for sure. I can't tell what that lens is. I wouldn't swear to it. Now, obviously, on the we got 50. What does it say? I believe that's a 50 millimeter. I don't know the part where it says that it's 28 millimeter. I don't know. I can't see the light's been reflecting. But anyway, looks like it says 28 millimeter. So that's a pretty wide open lens. Either way, the lenses look good. Of course, I would have the 28 to 300. Same as I do now with it, except it would be Canon if I go lens if I can afford it. Or excuse me. Okay, so this is just, I love the look of this camera. It's awesome, both of them, but especially the 1D-C. I mean, if I had a choice, obviously it'd be the 1D-C for the faster frames. awesome. I really want one. I'm hoping to get one soon, but I don't know. We'll just see. So, there it is. They're beautiful. Both of them are beautiful. I mean, they're high quality. Of course, the 1D-C is more weatherproof than the 5D Mark III. But they're both, pretty good as far as weather resistance. But the 1D-C does have more water shield points as far as that goes. So, I'm trying to think what else I can talk to you about them other than they're awesome. They're both awesome, but the 1D-C is really awesome. I really don't know what else I can tell you. We talked about there's lots of accessories obviously we could talk about, but as far as the cameras, I can't really from this, with just this image, I can't really talk a whole lot about the back. I just talk about the front, how it looks. I think I'll leave it with that. There's a lot of information I'm giving you in this video, just something to think about. As I sit here making this video, wishing I could afford a 1D-C. My only thing is I wish it was higher resolution. Obviously, it was about higher resolution and faster and better, but so, that's just better low light. We want to be sharp, take sharp images. We want in focus, so anyway, 1D-C is the camera I want. 20 to 300 millimeter lens is what I would go with for general everyday use, as well as a UV 77 millimeter to go on the end of that. I would have the GPS device on the side, although I wish it was built in, but that's another point of this camera that I don't like, is the fact that the GPS isn't built in. Aside from that, I would get the GPS device if I can afford it, and use that so I can geotag my photos and stuff like that. I think that's a neat feature. Not something you have to have, obviously, but something that would be neat to look at and just have that information there within the XF data. So, there it is. The reason I make this video and would like it is because right now I can't afford this camera. The 1D-C, I would love to own it. So, instead of owning it, I'll make videos and talk about it and things I like and don't like and wish it had. And it's just a way for me to release my, I don't have something, so I want to talk about it. I like looking at it. I wish I could use it. I mean, the camera I've got now is okay, but this would be so much better. I can do so many more things. And the resolution would be better, and the speed would be better. I mean, there's just so many things that, especially the ISO and the speed and the quality. The quality, speed, ISO. Those are the three things that, plus the improved autofocus. That would probably the 3 or 4 things I really want, plus the GPS. So there's a lot of things I'd like to be able to do that I can't do, and the things that I can do that I would like to be able to do better and have better images. So that's where I am. I wish I had the 1D-C. So Canon, if you're out there, anyway, I always say, well, maybe they're going to send me the one that comes after the 1D-C. The one that does 5K or the one that does, whatever. When it comes after this, maybe they're going to send me one of those. That's always a hope, of course. But until then, this is the 1D-C is the one I want. So, I guess I'm going to end the video with that and just say both of these are beautiful cameras. The 1D-C is awesome by today's standards. It's probably the best that does both photo and video overall. So, I'm going to leave you with that and say until next time, I'm Canon EOS photographer for Around the Roof. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. God bless. Bye.